Morning, YouTubers. Well, I say morning. We just got back from church a little while ago, so it's not actually morning. It's it's almost afternoon. And look at that sky. Look at that sunlight. Lord have mercy. I'm gonna turn y'all around so you can see the sky back there. That beautiful sky. And over here you can see that beautiful Rambler, which Bill came over the other day and helped me start putting the motor together for that. You know how helpful it is when someone just comes and helps you. And I mean, it can be something like that motor. That motor's been sitting in that garage now for months. I took it all apart. I spent a lot of time with motors. I got my hands all sore from pulling them out and taking them apart. And I just needed the motor brake, so I went and built that shed back there. I kept looking at that motor and thinking, well, one of these days I'm going to get around to that. And Bill just showed up the other morning. Well, actually, he sent me a message before the sun came up. Said, "What are you doing today?" And I said, well, I listed off of things because I've always, I don't get bored. I've always got something to do. I mean, I can just run off a list of things we could do, you know, at any given moment. And he said, well, I'll be over as soon as the sun comes up. And he came over here and he polished the crankshaft while I honed the block, and then we pulled the pistons out and cleaned them up and coated all the bearings and all the moving parts with STP oil treatment and slid it all back together, and it's in here now. I'm just waiting for some cam lube and some gaskets and, you know, some other stuff so I can continue the process of putting that together. Ain't that pretty? But I just wanted to talk about, you know, how valuable it is. Looky there, somebody left the light on. That light's been on all night. Bless his heart. I just want to talk about how valuable real people are. And by real people, I mean people that are not the people that they talk about on the news every freaking day. I mean, I want you to think about this. Every day, if you're a mind to, I don't watch TV anymore, but I've gotten to where I turn on the computer because I like to talk to my YouTube friends, you know. And of course, while I'm there, I can flip through 2 or 3 news channels and see what's happening in the news. Every day, they're telling the story of some politician who did the same thing last night that he's done every night for the last series of years. And he's done the same thing that he's going to do for the next series of years. And it ain't news. It's just this guy doing what he does, and for some reason the whole world looks at him. And who cares? And then there's this other guy, and he reacts to this guy, and he's going to say the same thing that he says every day, and who cares? You know, it's, geez Louise, I get so sick of turning on the news, and there ain't no news. There's just a bunch of goobly gawk that people make so that they can have content to try to get people to look at their station so they can make money. And that's what a lot of YouTube has become. It's become people trying to invent stuff that you want to see so they can make money. And the more y'all look at their stuff, the more money they can make. And then if they can make enough money, they don't have to go and work at a real job in the morning. They can just wander around the yard doing what I'm doing right now, just jibber jabbering away and expect people to care at all about what they're doing. But what does matter, I had a friend that I have known for, oh lordy, well over 40 years, going on 50, who had a stroke the other day. She's in another state. They're down there staying in another place, and she had a stroke and in the hospital, and she having to learn how to walk again and how to use her arms again. That's a real person. And her sister called and told me about it, and I connected with her, and she can't hardly talk, but we talked, and I told her she was on the prayer list over at church. That's a real person who's going through a hard time and needs for somebody to care. And by golly, I am honored to be that somebody. And then there's another real person who, y'all know Zena. She's that lovely young lady down in the Bahamas that sings. Well, she came up to America to get some medical treatment for something that has to do with her ability to sing. And oh, wasn't I happy to hear from her. I love real people. I don't so much love famous people who become famous by just drawing attention to themselves. In fact, I'm getting a little sick of that. But I'm gonna not fuss about that anymore today, because if I spend too much time fussing about it, then that will be what I become famous for. I will become famous for being a guy that walks around and fusses about people, and I don't want to be that. So instead of that, I'm going to be thankful for people, and I'll be thankful for today a particular person. I got a message on the Book of Face, and they said somebody had commented on me on a banjo page, and I went and looked at it, and this person had pulled up a video of me playing 14 years ago when I was still in that house up in Maine in the dark of the morning with the wood stove going, and said how much it meant to her. And somebody else commented and said, yeah, that guy, there was a time when I was trying to figure out how to play the banjo, and that guy helped me out. And I thought, now this is the most amazing thing, because it's an example of love. Here's a couple of people I don't even know, but they just sent a message out to the world saying that they love me. How special is that? And how wonderful is that? And how meaningful is that? And how much better is that to know about and to focus on when you decide to look at the computer in the morning, instead of having to look at some mean-spirited politician that's going to rant and rave and call people names and just, make you feel bad about the world. I love feeling good about the world. And that's why I love Jesus. Now, I was watching a movie the other night, and they was bad-mouthing Jesus pretty hard, and I was thinking, well, these are Hollywood actors, and they get paid to say this, but, the reality of Jesus is that Jesus said that he said, a new commandment I give you, and that is that you love each other. He said, people will know that you are mine because you love each other. Jesus talked about love. Jesus said, I come not to enforce the law, but to fulfill the law. I come to complete it. And, he said the most important thing that I have to say, and the most important thing that I want you to remember, is to love each other. And he's right. It's the most important thing. If we can love each other. I saw George on YouTube this morning, and he was filing the valves down on a 4-stroke engine that he's putting in his Goofy cart. And I need to do that. I need to adjust the valves on my dad's old John Deere mower. And I've heard somebody talk about it. I think I read something about it, and I don't know how to do it. But I was watching what he was putting out there, and he did it, and I saw him do it, and I thought, now just think, because he put this out there, and I've seen him do it, now I feel like I can do it. That's a great big gift that George gave me. He gave me a great big gift showing me how to do something. And George ain't famous. News people don't get up every day and say, old shade tree fix-it man George. Today, shade tree fix-it man George pulled the heads off of his 4-stroke engine and pulled the valves out and showed everybody how to fix them. Well, that don't make the news. But it's loving to share something that you can do for the good of others, to help others see how you did it. George ain't doing it to get rich. He's doing it because he cares about people. And he loves people. And I love that. I think that's just great. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to sweep this dirty spot up, and I'm going to pull this Studebaker out, because later today some people are going to come over here and they're going to use this space to dance. I mean, how fortunate can a person possibly be? Thanks to the good Lord's blessings, I get to own this building. And I get to park this beautiful car in this building that I didn't even build this car. Mike Hall built this car, and he said, I want somebody to take this car and take care of it, and he let me buy it. And I feel like the good Lord gave me this car so that because he loves me, And also because he wants me to use this to talk about God's love to other people who don't know about God's love. That's why the back window of this car says, "Even this thou hast given me." Yes, God gave me this car. How many people do you know that has one of these? Who can afford to have one of these? Or who is so blessed that they're allowed to have one of these? I don't think I am. I have one, but it's not because of my amazing talent, not because I was smart and figured out how to succeed in the world. The only thing I have done is I have said to Jesus, I shouldn't be in charge of my life because I apparently don't know how to run my life in a way that's helpful to me or to anyone else. And I said to Jesus, would you please take over? Because I'm just doing a mess. I'm making a mess out of life. And God did. Jesus said, you know what? I kind of been waiting for you to get this attitude. And since then, God took over. Amazing things have happened that I don't feel like I can take credit for. But I can give credit for those amazing things to God. And I give God credit for this, for my wonderful wife, for those people that come to dance, for those people out there that show me their love, people I don't even know. I give God credit for all of that. Because God, in the love of God, gave me all of that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to open the garage door, pull the Studebaker out, and sweep the garage floor so that others can come and enjoy my space. And you get to watch. Okay then, now let's sweep the floor. By the way, thank you every one of you who are watching this. Thank you every one of you who has enough love in your heart to care about others and not just the people that the world, when I use the world like in a term like that, I mean like, I don't know what the world that wants us all to focus on whatever some big mouth politician or self-important person wants to say, but I mean the real world where the people that you love and who love you and some people that you don't love, but you would if you knew them, live. Thank God that there's a bigger world out there than the world that the world wants us to focus on. Big world out there full of people we don't even know yet. But we would love them if we did give them a chance and get to know them. Think on that.